Joining me now is Francis Preedy, who's a senior manager at the international trademark attorneys Hallmark IP. Now, can you tell me briefly what is a trademark?
A trademark is what sets out to the public what are your goods or your services and distinguishes them from somebody else. If someone sees your mark, they're going to recognise that as coming from you, that they're going to be of a particular quality, and that in the future, if they're going to buy those goods or services again, they're going to continue to be of that quality.
Can anything be registered as a trademark?
No, it can't. It has to be able to distinguish what are your goods from those of somebody else. So, for example, if what you have is a computer, anybody can, well, sell a computer, calling it a computer. That's why people will come out with words such as Apple, so they've distinguished their goods from those of somebody else. So that's the importance of a trademark.
Now, how does registering a trademark actually benefit a business?
Well, a trademark actually, if you've got it registered, gives you the right to exclusive use of that trademark. So it means somebody else cannot use the same or a similar mark, but only in relation to the goods or services for which that mark has been registered. Well, that means that if what you've got is a trademark such as polo, that can be registered for confectionery as it is, but because it's going to be distinguished and different from other goods such as the Volkswagen polo, those two can coexist. Similarly, if we've got another polo such as clothing, shirts, it doesn't mean you have rights just to that word. Somebody else might be able to get rights to that word, but in relation to the defined goods and services to which we referred earlier.
So what are the risks in not being registered?
Well, if you use a trademark, then of course it gets more well known, and if it gets more well known, then the reputation builds, and if the reputation builds, then of course the value to the business is that much greater. So if you get rights in a trademark, then in fact all those rights will accrue to the trademark and the owner of those trademarks. If you don't, then there are two possible problems. The first is in fact that if someone else starts using the trademark, then they can actually benefit from the reputation you've built up. You've spent all that time, all that money building up reputation in a trademark, and yet they can come along and they can use your trademark or a similar trademark. There might be confusion, and of course if their goods are worse than yours, then you don't want to be linked in with them. And unfortunately, that's what might happen. The other side is if they try to register the trademark. Because if they try to register the trademark, they will get all the benefits that you have built up over the years, whatever it may be. But the fact is, they get the benefits, and they might even be able to prevent you from using the trademark. It's like then you're going to have to start all over again from scratch. You've got to choose yet another trademark, and they've got everything that you've built up.
So having registered your trademark, have you done all that you need to do to protect your business?
No, you haven't. Because if you've got a registered trademark, you do have rights in it. But you have to discover if somebody else is trying to take over those rights, or at least use your rights. So what you do need is a trademark watching service. It's something we provide, which in fact is very cheap, but very, very sensible. We have a look at all the trademarks journals where trademarks are advertised, so you get to know that people are actually trying to get rights in your trademark or a similar trademark. And we tell our clients whether the marks might be similar and whether they're covering the same or similar services. And if they are, then of course it's up to them to decide whether they want to oppose its registration, to actually make sure they protect their marks and stop somebody else getting the rights. And it's not very expensive, because if we're looking at, say, the United Kingdom, it's less than £70 for a whole year, and worldwide it's about £90, a bit less than £90 for a whole year, just to have a trademark watching service, and it's well worth it.
Why would a company not just register its company name and its domain name?
A lot of people get this wrong, because a company name provides you with very little indeed. All it does is mean that you, with a company name registered, can only prevent somebody else registering exactly the same company name. You don't even necessarily have the right to use the company name. If somebody else has got the name registered or something that's similar registered, then of course they might be able to prevent you from using your company name. You also asked about domain names. And domains are another interesting field because you can register those for so little money these days. But having done that, again, if somebody else has got the name registered, then you can just apply to get the domain transferred, and once more, you've lost that domain name.
So what does a trademark actually cost?
That depends on not only obviously the trademark, but actually the goods and the services for which you want the mark registered. But when it comes down to it, in fact, if we're talking the United Kingdom, you can go as low as about £500, or community trademarks, which cover all 27 member states of the EU, that is as low as about £2,000 or less.
Well, Francis Preedy from Hallmark IP, thank you very much.
Thank you.